Hey, CJ Stone here, over downtown Wasilla, Main Street.
Matanuska Valley, Alaska. Check out the mountains, man.
Mountains.
Everywhere we go, guys, everywhere, there's mountains. Everywhere we go.
There they
This is
are.
what Alaska looks like. This is the main town. So we're
over
in the middle
at,
of town. We're checking out
Go check out Hempire.
Yeah.
This is
So
place.
CBDs. Right in the middle of town.
Hi.
Everybody loves us.
Woo, let's go check it out.
Check it out.
Yo, it's the Grow Green podcast. For another fat one, puffing on that first class green. Take another puff, hey. Drifting the clouds up and away. Hear all about cannabis horticulture, plus cultivation, news and entertainment. Never forgetting the cute Dalmatian. Grow Green is so amazing. We do massive dabs, not talking about the dance move. Grow Green, put your lighters on, my dude. Hash joy, and it's so great. Smoke cannabis every single day. We do massive dabs, not talking about the dance move. Grow Green, put your lighters on, my dude. Hash joy, you'll get that high grade. Smoke cannabis every single day, yo. Grow Green, grow green, grow green, grow green.
Hey, what up, guys? Eric Weed here.
CJ Stone.
Grow Green Podcast number 38.
38.
We're here in the middle of the heart of Wasilla at Hempire Co. We're here with Anthony from Hempire. Thanks for having us today, man.
No worries. Thanks
We're
for
here
coming.
to help break down the stigma. We're going to talk a little bit about CBD, what it does, what it's about, how it works with the body, and we're going to try to highlight this place here because it's something that we need in the middle of Wasilla because it's not necessarily a drug, and we want to break down that stigma to people out there and make them realize how it actually helps a lot of people. The reason that we don't do dabs on these types of shows is because it might hurt financially, legally, or in some way because we have what's called AMCO in Alaska, and they got that right there, you know what I'm saying? So we have kind of a situation when we go to places like this or like the last episode, we can't do dabs, but believe me, we all get high before we come on the show, buddy. Hell yeah. Legality reasons, you know what I'm saying? We try to keep people clean. All right, so back to it. No jazz. We're going to talk a little bit about the CBD and stuff that Anthony carries here at Hempire. Why don't you give us a little introduction here? Tell us a little bit about CBD in general, how
Absolutely,
it's different
Trey.
than THC.
Excellent. Yes. So I first off want to thank you about the dabs comment here. What I think that would do is cloud the perception of what we're trying to do here. We're trying to break that stigma, and separate the two.
Keeping it clean
THC,
for medication.
CBD. So basically, CBD is a cannabinoid. A cannabinoid does not strictly come from hemp or cannabis. A cannabinoid is a chemical compound that directly interacts with our CB1 and CB2 receptors in our endocannabinoid system, or our ECS. I specialize in the CBD product because the CBD is the traffic controller of these cannabinoids, both phytocannabinoids and our naturally produced endocannabinoids. It basically gets them all doing their job most efficiently. What we do here is kind of educate people on how to properly take CBD and turn them back onto CBD if they've already turned themselves off of CBD. For example, a lot of people come in and I hear it time and time again. Well, I've taken 100 milligrams of CBD and I didn't feel anything. That's probably because their ECS system has gone so long without being stimulated, it only knows how to take in 20 milligrams at a time, 80 of it's passing through their body. So what we do is we consistently get them on this regimen where they consistently supplement that ECS system. As they're supplementing the system, your CB1 and CB2 receptors are going to retract themselves from these nerve walls, expose themselves some more. And the longer you're taking the CBD, the more receptors you're going to expose, the bigger doses you can take, the bigger benefits you start to notice. That being said, consistency is key. You want to consistently be supplementing this. Twice a day, 3 times a day, microdosing through the day is important. Small amounts, less is more. We want to, after about 30 days, we can sit down with you and customize that blend, whether you want to up that CBD, whether you want to add what's called terpenes. But we have all these different delivery methods. It looks novelty because of all the colors, but they're all just different delivery methods to get it in your system most efficiently. For example, you don't want to just consume CBD. If you just eat it, it's not water soluble. It is an oil base, so your body has to turn it water soluble. And to do that, it's going to metabolize in your stomach. After about 60 minutes, you only get about 20% of that CBD into your bloodstream. So what we want to do is try and get it into your bloodstream as rapidly as possible. Most efficiently is using these oils. A lot of people refer to them as tinctures, but in fact, it's not even a tincture because there's no alcohol being used to make them. It is just an MCT oil, which stands for medium chain triglyceride, and 99.9% pure CBD. The tasteless oil allows us to be able to customize it using terpenes, which we'll touch on in a bit. But this MCT oil allows for rapid absorption into your system under your tongue. So you're getting about 80 to 90% bioavailability in about 10 to 15 minutes compared to just consuming it. Mixing it with drinks, it's just not viable. It's not economically
We all know
efficient.
about that. Just like making edibles, that sometimes you got to decarb it, or it is active. Same thing in the retrospect of that. Sometimes you can't absorb all of it. So tell us a little bit about some of the products in here besides the terpenes. We all kind of know what terpenes are. Everybody on the show knows what terps are, but we'll talk more about how they help the body later on. But tell us a little bit about some of the products down here. I see you got
Yeah, absolutely.
some cotton candy down there, some bath bombs.
What we have down here, for example, are some gummies that are water soluble. They contain a water soluble CBD.
Step in a little closer there so we can see you. Yeah.
So these are made by a company called Living Water, and they're actually a broad spectrum gummy. So they take out the THC, but they leave in the CBN, CBG, CBC, and CBD, and then they flavor it with about 75 different terpenes. This right here is made with a water-soluble CBD, so it is instantly available because it's nano-sized. And then we got some topical patches for people that can't consume or smoke, and these are just wearable patches that you can wear for 96 hours and forget about it, and you're microdosing throughout the day.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So something that we were talking about earlier was doing them custom blends, and I saw you showed me a chart earlier before we started, and it has all the different, let's say, terpenes or different cannabinoids that is used for different things in the body, and that's kind of what really started my interest in CBDs because, I started realizing, hey, this stuff was around before we started even thinking about cannabis or anything like that. People using it for years and years and years for different things like paper, for different things like we were talking earlier that even our meat had CBDs in it. So let's talk a little bit about some of these custom blends. What do all the different terpenes do to the body? Just give us a quick rundown to try to some of those people out there that don't have a clue what all the different terpenes do for us.
Terpenes are terpenes. So if you get limonene from a citrus, it's going to be the same as if you get it from cannabis, the same chemical structure. Now where the separation comes in is how they interact with each other synergistically. There's so many unknown terpenes in cannabis that they interact with these known terpenes that we just don't know. There's not enough research for it. But if somebody walks into me and they want a custom blend for like nighttime relaxation, or they're having trouble with anxiety or depression, we can look at this lovely chart that has all these different medical values, and we can customize it to fit their therapeutic needs. If they come to me looking for some pain relief, we can add in some like myrcene just to promote that analgesic value of these terpenes. And it promotes that energy. It works synergistically with the CBD to boost that specific property. Analgesic, anti-inflammatory, antidepressant, you name it, we can work it.
So it's all about the body and all about helping your system work together to make you have a better overall way of life and feeling. So let's, over here by CJ, we got some of the different flavors and stuff that you guys use, right? So somebody could come in here and you could look through their ailments, whatever they have wrong, whatever they have a problem with, and you can kind of custom make an exact blend for what they need for that specific person from what they tell you. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, what I'm saying is everybody's ECS is going to metabolize at a different rate. You can't give two people the same exact product and expect the same exact results. So what we can do is take our best guess looking at these charts, and we work with them, and they report back to us, and we can customize that blend, change up the terpenes as needed. And what this does is it builds a relationship and builds a trust where they will be more open, and they start breaking that stigma naturally. They start looking away from the plant altogether.
Yeah, it's more like medicine than it is what you guys have all been force-fed by big farm, big government for years and years. It's none of that shit that they told you it was. It's actually helpful, and it's useful for the body, not just to get high, people, okay? And that's one of the things that you guys had an issue with here, kind of the stigma, let's call it. you being right here in the middle of the city of Wasilla, Matanuska Valley.
Had to do a massive
you guys had to
battle
go
get this
to the
place.
battle. You know, I know that we had to do that with legalization for cannabis, but it's ridiculous that you guys have to do that for CBD that's used for medicine, not to get high. So tell us a little bit about that and how you guys overcame that.
Yeah, excellent. We had a historical battle with the Planning Commission here on last Tuesday. A huge turnout of support. We would like to thank that. Basically, the argument was not whether CBD should be sold on Main Street or not. It's whether we fit this environment. What it is
Fit the environment.
is that stigma. People think we're a bunch of stoners trying to spread out a bunch of marijuana products, but in fact, we actually fit perfectly. We have chiropractors to the left of us. We have recovery centers to the right of us. We feel we fit perfect with this
There's
kind
stores
of
that
family.
sell CBD right down less than a block away right there.
Most of our
What's
clients,
the problem, people?
yeah, most of our clients, military slope workers, they get drug tested. They can't be seen in a dispensary. So what we've done is create a family-oriented environment. You can bring your kids. We have a little play area. Have them play around while you sit down
Beautiful.
for 15, 20
Free
minutes, educate
babysitter.
yourself. And you just come in, you have a good time. We actually educate you to
Custom
to the
blends.
extent that you walk out of here knowing that you're taking something you want and not something we pushed onto you.
Leaving with knowledge. And that's power, people. Can't beat that. Now, another thing let's talk about real quick is like I was just saying, right here, they got people down the road selling CBD. They got right over here, I know there's a place that sells CBD. It's just funny that they pick on you guys because of the association with cannabis. Well, let's break down that stigma and make people realize that this is used for helping people, not for making people high. It's completely different. And I know I've said that a couple of times, but we just want to drill that in
You
your
guys
head
have any
because we're trying to
examples of
break out
people
the
that have used CBD
Yeah.
and actually helped them to prove that it's not
Sure,
just
a million, I know.
placebo
I have a million
effect?
of them. I have a couple that stick out.
Something that sticks out, yeah.
Yeah, so we've had I'm not going to use any names for their purpose, but city council members that had been 100% against the cannabis scene voted against it, and we have 100% turned around. Now they're one of our biggest advocates. They actually are one of our regular customers. That would be a big one because they started taking after a major surgery, and they're up in the elderly. So we would like to...
Thanks, you guys, for making us proud to be here in the middle of Wasilla, breaking down the stigma and making you guys realize that it's not like that. Like he said, city councilmen, all these other people, it really shows through that we're not just full of a bunch of stoners.
Actually, I think I can safely say 0% of our customers come to us for recreational use.
0%. Well, there's no really recreational use for CBD, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
There's no.
So why would it?
There's no
Why,
psychoactive
it's something that
high.
people
Wanna
just
waste your money.
associate.
The only thing I
yeah.
could say is with relief comes natural euphoria. When you start feeling good, your body's going to start feeling good, your mind's going to start feeling good, more confident, and so
Right.
that's the only recreational use I can think of.
High on life.
You can't overdose on CBD. Yeah,
You can't overdose. You know, you said something earlier I wanted to touch on. I just thought about it. You said that they didn't want to come in here and end up getting popping hot for a drug test. So that's a good question. Does CBD, if
Show
you
up on a
consume
drug
CBD,
test?
show up on a drug test? That's something that I've always kind of wondered, and I don't really have the answer because I've heard both ways.
Yes, that's an excellent question. So what the difference would be actually I can point out here, we have a full spectrum line, which does contain under the legal limit of 0.3% delta 9 THC, the psychoactive cannabinoid found in cannabis. And then we have the clear colored ones here, which are just 99.9% pure CBD. Those you cannot test hot for. And those are going to be used for the people in the military or getting regular drug tests. Now, that being said, I did go into this gas station over here and buy some CBD. I made sure I questioned them a little bit about it. And honestly, they had no idea. They did say I would pass a drug test because it would not get me high. But just because it doesn't get you high doesn't mean you will not pass a drug test. You will pass a drug test. Matter of fact, what they are selling is full spectrum, and I would have failed if I were taking a drug test. I just want to point that out. Be very wary of what you're buying. Even if it is 99.9% pure CBD, make sure it's not being bonded with something like hemp seed oil, which does contain those trace amounts of THC. And you have the same odds of popping hot as if you were consuming a bunch of poppy seed muffins and you popped hot for, say, opium.
That's why a place like this is very important, so people can know for sure that they're not going to get something that's tainted.
They can come here and they can tell you their situation and get a custom blend. That's what's up. Right on, man. So let's talk a little bit about the body and how you said that it uses different things in the body to do different things. I'd like to touch on that. I know you kind of touched on it lightly, but can we talk about a little bit more, like when you were talking to us earlier, explaining that? how the body uses different parts of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the longer you're taking CBD, the more benefit you're going to get. And ultimately, what CBD's job is to promote homeostasis in our body, which balances out your system. Homeostasis is a big word for in balance, working together, almost in harmony. So it works synergistically with both the phytocannabinoids and with the endocannabinoids. So that being said, you do not need to have THC, CBN, CBG to bring the health benefits you're seeking. That does promote what's called an entourage effect. They do work together, so there's an extra benefit there. But our CBD line, that's 99.9% pure CBD, it does the same thing with our endocannabinoids, our indigenous cannabinoids. It will tell them how to do their job most properly. But the key is consistency. Don't give up on it before you actually get to experience the true benefits. And that being said, I've had many customers come to me and say, I haven't felt anything for the last month, and then they stop taking it. 3 days later, they're back in here and be like, I didn't notice it until I stopped taking it.
Right?
So, yeah.
I got you. Yeah, because it's a gradual thing. It builds up in the body, and that's one of the things you have to realize. You can't just expect to take any kind of medication and it work right away. This isn't. Again, we're breaking down the stigma. This isn't like getting high, where when you take it or when you smoke it or whatever, boom, it's going to hit you like that. This is something that builds up in the body that hasn't been there for a long time, and your body's got to get used to it. So that makes a lot of sense to me. What about you, CJ?
Totally.
Yeah, talking about being there for a long time, you did talk to me before about the meat. And
yeah, the meat. We used to get CBD in our meat, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's exactly true. So back in the day, our grandparents would grow this hemp. Actually, you could pay your taxes. Actually, there's some old tax bills
Money
out
used to
there.
be made out of hemp.
And money was made out of hemp. But more importantly, it was their main feed for our cattle and swine. And so through eating and consuming our cattle and swine daily, we were getting residual CBD into our system. And this is what's called PCR meat, phytocannabinoid-rich meat. And we no longer feed it to our cattle and swine. Who knows why? It is the most efficient, cheapest, and fastest growing. But hopefully soon we'll be able to change the Alaskan agriculture to move back towards that direction. And in turn, people will start seeing these health benefits again, not just from CBD.
Cool, yeah. Touching on that, we're going to jump right a different kind of way, but you said CBD in Alaska and hemp in Alaska. What do you know? We just passed legal hemp in Alaska, just FYI for all your guys' information out there in Alaska. It is legal to grow hemp. Do you know a lot about the regulations and all that? Or have you
so
heard a lot
SB
about
6
that?
just
Tell
got
me about
passed.
that.
Senate
I'm
Bill
curious.
6. Senator Shelley Hughes, huge advocate of this now, had wrote up the Senate bill to allow Alaska to legally grow industrial hemp and to separate the definition of CBD from marijuana. And she successfully did so.
We don't use that word.
Yeah, cannabis. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm bad. But yeah, she successfully got that passed unanimously, and it was a huge marker in our history. We are now legal in all 50 states to grow it. I can say personally, I do not foresee us growing it for CBD purposes.
You don't think that's going to happen, huh?
I do not, because it's already established in the lower 48. It's so cheap to get it shipped up here pre-processed that you'd have to go through a massive turnaround in your money to get even that CBD. But I think, and more importantly, it's going to affect the agricultural scene of Alaska, as far as textiles, housing, paper,
I think that would be great. It would cut down on a lot of waste we have. It's a reusable, it's a compostable, so it's all a better win for the system. Plastic takes so long, hundreds of years, I think, to break down some plastic.
Yeah, screw plastic, bring back hemp.
Let's bring back that hemp.
Yeah.
And there was something else I was going to just touch on there a second ago, and I think I lost my train of thought.
What about the Weed Out campaign that Josh Freifogel last on?
Freifogel, yes.
He's got some pretty cool videos I noticed when I was looking up the old Hempire Co.
Yeah, the Weed Out campaign. We're a huge advocate. We're a sponsor of them. Basically, they're out to break the stigma of marijuana as well, cannabis as well. See, I keep catching myself on that. Marijuana is part of that campaign. They're trying to weed out. It's an old. What would you describe it as? It's slang, basically.
Government oppression slang.
Yeah, it's just. It's not good. Basically, cannabis is the right word. We're trying to get rid of the words weed and marijuana and the stigma associated with it.
Marijuana is like saying, I'm going to go drink some hooch. You know what I mean? That's what it is, really.
So, but the thing is, it also brings attention to how we're consuming addictive and dangerous substances every day, like coffee, caffeine, sugar. And what he does is he ultimately brands these products to fit the same stigma as marijuana. So, for example, coffee, psychoactive coffee. I don't know if you've been aware of Josh's line of that.
No, I didn't know he has
so
psychoactive
he has this line of coffee that's packaged called Psychoactive.
I love coffee.
And if you look at the back, it has all the uses for caffeine. It has the dangers of caffeine and disclaimers of it, and the dangers of consuming it on the regular. And then he's been working on a few other products. I'm not going to break.
I love my coffee.
Break it.
Don't want to be
He's got
drinking
some cool ideas up
got
his
some
sleeve.
cool products.
Yeah, he's got some big things up his sleeve. I think it's going to change a lot coming here in the next year.
Cool. Can't wait to see. Yeah, so I remember what I was going to ask.
There you go.
We were talking about the hemp in Alaska, you know, and you said you didn't think that they were going to grow hemp to produce CBD. You know, for a minute there, we'll just jump back and talk about the May 1st thing and the DEA rescheduling and all that. So tell us a little bit about the rescheduling. I know that there's a lot of people and some rumors out there. CBD's now not legal. We thought maybe that. So maybe we could break that down here. Do you know about all that they did on the May 1st and then they renounced on the 3rd? Tell us a little bit about that. I'm curious to find that out.
Obviously, it's big money being played around. So
Right,
there's really
right.
no logical reason for them to be doing this. After that fell through with the DEA, Big Pharma is still working hand in hand with the FDA now to try and actually change the definition of CBD to be excluded from hemp altogether because it is found in other sources, which would ultimately affect the industry in a huge detrimental way. Basically, I don't foresee that being a problem, especially for us little guys here in
So when they
Wasilla.
rescheduled it, then on the 1st, in my mind, I was like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? It's like here. I thought maybe they were going to do something like this. They were going to reschedule, and then they said they were going to allow the states to take care of it. So here I thought, well, maybe Alaska's going to jump on the train of you can't sell it if it's bought from out of state, but if it's locally grown CBD hemp derived from locally grown hemp, maybe. But you know, it's all up in the air. So I'm glad that you told me you didn't think that you don't think they're going to grow it. And I'm kind of curious to where it all will go with the Alaska hemp. And I hope either way that we somehow figure out that this isn't we're not growing weed, we're not growing cannabis, you know what I mean? We're growing something to be used as a textile, as something to be used as a medication, something to be used to keep a lot of the crap that's in our landfills out of there that we could be recomposting. This thing has been pushed to the wayside because of big money, like he said, for years and years and years. And it needs to start right here. And it's started before, but we need to continue to break it down. And we're going to break down today so that you guys can continue to break it down to all of your people out there. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. We're going to have some shout outs here to some companies. There's CBD. These guys, I know Green Degree has it over there. You guys are in Green Degree. Where else are you guys located?
Find us in the lobby of Green Degree. You can find us in the lobby of Rosebud Shatterhouse. But more importantly, you can find us
Shout
right
out
here in the heart of
Rosebud
Wasilla
Shatterhouse.
on Main
Right in
Street.
the heart of Wasilla. And we're going to shoot you guys some shots to show exactly how much in the heart of Wasilla it is. I'm looking out the window right here at the Wasilla Post Office.
You can see City Hall
right
behind
there,
me.
City Hall right
City
over
Hall
here.
right back there.
We are smack dab in the middle of Wasilla. And that, if it doesn't do anything, it's going to help break down some stigma. Let's knock it out. Okay, Eric Weed here, Grow Green 38. We're going to go into some more questions. We'll play those later, but thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. Thanks, Anthony, for
Thank you for having
One more question. Are you guys open yet? What's going on with that?
yeah,
So
A
we
lot
had
of
a
people
little
down
soft
here.
opening. Yeah, since Tuesday we did get past. We had a little soft opening yesterday, but on Wednesday we're gonna have the mayor come and cut a ribbon, and then on Saturday we'll have a grand opening.
There
Saturday,
you go. Come on down
the
Main
what?
Street, Wasilla.
What day is Saturday?
That's a good question. Don't put me on the spot like that. Next Saturday from today.
This is good up the day. There you
All
go.
right.
Look at the dates.
Cool. Thanks you guys for watching.
Grow Green.
Make sure you check us out. Check out
38.
the last episode, season 2, episode 38. Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys.
Grow Green Podcast.
Green Podcast.
Peace.
This is the Grow Green Podcast. The Grow